Hey lovelies, it's Heather here. Sorry you're gonna get me while I'm like halfway kinda crying and trying not to and everything. I just wrote my kid and just tore me up because I miss her so much. And it's like today, like I feel like the shittiest person in the world, and the thing is like I just woke up. I've been asleep since like I don't know, like 8, I guess, in the morning to 5 or something like that, or somewhere around those times. And it's like last night, it's like I was doing relatively. Stevie, go away. I know you're hungry. I gotta go to the store sometime. My dogs don't even got no food today. So I else gotta go later today or get my friend to take me tomorrow. Or, well, Jen. Which I don't know what the deal is with Jen because I don't know if she has borderline personality disorder because she handed me a book on it and it's like she's made it very obvious that she's made it very obvious before, like in the past, I don't know, probably about like a month and a half ago that she's crushing on me like really bad. But I don't know if it's just like because I'm the nearest thing or well, that not thing, but like I'm the nearest and the newest. And I get that because that might even be what somebody could say about the deal between me and EJ is like she was the nearest person to me and the newest. And even though, yeah, and like the excitement of that, and everything, it's like, you ever just hang out with somebody and you feel like it just clicks? Like everything just lines up and makes sense? Like everything just lined up and made sense. Like everything, like even the shit with my parents taking my kid, it's like, oh, okay, I've taken such care of my kid all this time, and it's like now it's time for me to, actually find somebody that like to be with, and for us to like work on our relationship before I even get my kid back. That way, by the time my kid comes back, we've done got the like the basis of our relationship done like set like the foundation, and that way my kid wouldn't have to, you know, like go through, getting used to somebody in her life for them to just step out as simply as my husband did, and that they wouldn't step out at all. Like, I don't know, like, I mean, call me, and I'm an INFP, so I guess, I'm an idealist and I dream, and I really want one person, that, like, is there for me and I'm there for them, and that they can tolerate, like, my kid or whatever, or care for my kid, should I actually say. And EJ pretends that she don't care about anything, but she cares more than she lets on, and she's mad at me for knowing that. And it's like I fell in love with her. And it's like I'm trying to be nice to Jen like I would anybody. And now she hasn't mentioned anything about crushing on me. So I think she's kind of gotten the hint, but then I'm not sure because sometimes I don't know. It's like she and I'm dependent upon her, and it's like she's my ride to and from work, and I had to work yesterday. And that's the thing too, is like, she says things that just, I don't even know how they make me feel, because I'm so numb. But then again, I do, because I've not been numb my whole life. But it's like she says them, and it's like it just trickles off, you know, and it kind of irks my nerves, but it's like, just more shit, you know? And two of the things that she said to me in the car on the way to work is, I was sitting there and I was like, yeah, I was like, something about, you know, me being depressed or whatever. And I was like, I just got to get my kid back. And she said to me, why? And instead of saying the normal thing that I always say all the time that I've got tired of saying, which is that I love my kid. But it gets monotonous, you know, repetitive, and it's like, okay, well, let me give you other reasons other than I just love my kid. You know, I want my kid back because I love my kid, you know, and I sound like an insane person for saying it as much as I have. So I was like, because she's my only kid, because I missed most of her 6th grade year, because I'm missing her 7th grade year. I would like to have her back. That's what it was. I said, I'd like to have her back before her 7th grade year ends. That way I can at least say that I was with her for a few months out of her 7th grade year. She's my only kid. I'm probably not going to have any more. I mean, I don't know, you know, but I'm 30. I'm walking around on a busted ankle. And it's taken me this long to get my parents to fucking leave me the hell alone. And it was at the cost of my kid. Because they're narcissistic, selfish assholes who are abusive to me as a fuck. Like, and nobody's helping me. Or if they are, I mean, I'm appreciative, but it's not the help that I need, and that has been my whole life story. And it's like, oh, ask for the help that you need. And every time I try to get to that point with anybody, they fuck it up. They fuck it up. Or I fuck it up. And I don't know how, because nobody talks to me about how I fucked it up. It's like Melissa. That was my coworker that took, and she was the previous owner of the dog Bonsai that's missing right now. Or, well, he's supposed to be in the neighborhood. But it's like, she offered. I mean, like, I went into work and everybody's like, what's wrong? You know, whenever my daughter was taken from me. And I was like, I don't want to talk about it. And that's the thing too, is like, I have a really bad, because I was raised by a narcissistic mother that interrogated the shit out of me. And so I learned to tell everything, and it's like, people make fun of me for it. And I'm tired of people making fun of me for it, because I try really hard to be like, don't ask. Don't worry about it. You know, and be strong, and like, you know, and keep my privacy, if you will, to that degree. And that's the reason, like, I'm making YouTube now and putting it all out here, is because I'm just like, I can't stop myself. Like, every time I try, like, for me to stop myself, I would have to be able to be, like, completely alone for probably a few years, like 2 or 3 years, just completely and totally alone, not even have a dog to be like, hey, you know, and try to, like, have a pretend conversation with them, if you will, and be like, you know, I'm sad, or I'm mad, and you know, and this and that, you know, and, like, reading off of their emotional cues or whatever, because the way they look at me or cuddle up next to me or whatever. So that way I would learn to just not feel like I have to put things out into the world or what the fuck ever. But it's like, it's a part of myself that I've actually came to like, because at first, like, being interrogated, if you will, and you hate yourself because you tell everything, and then you learn how to manipulate so that way you're not told anything that is like a secretive thing. Like say for instance, what my sister may have got as a birthday gift and she's not supposed to know about. So then I trained myself to where I was just like, okay, I just have to figure it out whenever she figures it out too, because I'll slip up and tell her. Like I'm a blabbermouth because my mom has made me one, because my mom's always been like, you better tell me, and I need to know everything, and my grandmother too. Oh my God, my grandmother's horrible. Like, I couldn't even go to school without coming home and her being like, who's your classmates? What's their last name? Oh, I think I know their mama. Oh, I think I know their daddy. Oh, I think I know their sister. Oh, I think I know this. Oh, I think your sister went to school with their sister. Well, you need to tell them that I said hi and that I hope that their family. And it was everybody. And it was all the time. It was all the fucking time. I don't know how many times I went to school and I would bump into these people that I'm supposed to give these messages to of, hey, my grandmother knows your grandmother and hopes that your grandmother's doing fine and and all this and everything. And I was just like, I don't give a shit to tell them. Because half of them don't even talk to their grandparents or see them more than twice a year or what the hell ever, and stuff. And I was just like... And then whenever I would go around, it kind of gave off like a little bit of a stalkerish vibe for me to be like, hey, who are you related to? What's your mommy's name? What's your daddy's name? What's your grandmother's name? And so I just learned to not do it, and I learned to lie to them, like fib, and that's where I come in as, a liar or whatever. I learned to fib and be like, yeah, I told them you said hi. Oh, they said hi too. They said hi back. Yeah. Just to get them to shut the fuck up. But it's like being raised that way and constantly having to tell everything and talk about everything all the fucking time. It just became part of my personality and part of who the hell I am. And like, I like it about myself. Like, imagine, I don't know. I mean, people do shit anyways, any day that I can think of. Imagine I taught my cat to scratch any new person that come into the house. I taught him that. Let's imagine that I did that. So eventually all these other people, whenever they get scratched, they're yelling at him. They're screaming at him, right? And at first he's jerking back. He's scared. He's like, what the fuck have I done wrong? I don't know what I've done wrong. I was trained to do it. I'm doing what my master says. What am I doing wrong? And so then they get to the point where it's like, I ain't doing nothing wrong, and whenever I tried to pull back and stop and not do my trained behavior, my master, beat the shit out of me. So I gotta do my trained behavior. It's survival. It's a survival technique, and so, it's like, I gotta do it, and so then they start scratching people, and they start not feeling bad about it. And so I tell all about, as much as I do about my life, because I'm not upset about it or anything. I'm not upset about it until people use it against me. And God, do they. And that they make fun of me for it. And they talk shit about me because of it. And all kinds of stuff. And I'm just so sick of it. I'm so sick of it. And then I was raised that way, and then that's just like my kid, for instance. My kid would do something funny, like say she was at home and she tripped and she fell. And say I'm out somewhere, the next day with somebody, one of my friends, or I just bump into another mom at the, at the football game or whatever, and they're like, hey, what you been up to? And I'm like, nothing. And then I'm just standing there and I'm thinking, what have I been up to? And then I'm thinking, oh yeah, yesterday. Oh man, that was so cute and funny. And she got so mad, in her little face, And so I'd tell her, I'd be like, oh, Ava tripped and fell yesterday at the house. And she got so mad and her little face just scrunched up. She was so angry and it was so cute, And I was like, baby, it's okay, And Ava would be within earshot and be like, Mom, and stop. And she'd get mad at me, and I'm like, what? And I'm like, Ava, this has This has nothing to really do with you. This is my interpretation of what happened. I'm not making fun of you. I'm telling the truth of what actually happened. And so then, because I have to stop and like scold her about that, then that kind of put a damper on the conversation I was having with the parent. And I'm just like, I couldn't socialize with people when I was a kid, and my parents kept getting on to me for, Heather, don't say that. Heather, don't do that. Heather, don't, you know. And now, here I am, I got my kid, you know, Mom, everything that comes out of my mouth. And then I don't know how many times, like, because I got short-term memory loss. I'd be like, yeah, the other day, Una, you know, and then I'd be like, I'd pause for a second, and then I'd be like, because I couldn't remember if it was Una or Bonsai or Una or Clarabelle or something like that. I'd be like, and then I would reiterate, you know, I'd be like, yeah, the other day, Una, and then I'd pause, and then I'd be like, well, one of the dogs, you know, I think it was Una, and then I'd be like, jumped on Ava, you know, and knocked her into the actual, you know, chair. And so she was just sitting there in the chair. So the dog knocked her in the chair, and it looks real funny, you know, and everything. And Ava's just sitting there like, really? This just really happened? You know, and I'm like, yeah, they're big, ain't they? And they can, you know, knock you down, you know. And I would like say something like that, you know, and Ava, of course, again, would be in earshot, and she'd be like, Mom, you told it wrong. It wasn't Una, it was Clarabelle. And I'm just like, damn, you know, I'm like, can I have a conversation? Does it matter if I'm precise on the who and the what when it just happened yesterday or 3 days ago and I have short-term memory loss? Daughter of mine, do you understand this? Oh, wait, no, you don't, because you're a kid. So can you just please just go play with your friends and talk to your friends? I don't even care if you tell them that I dyed, you know, my fucking butt crack purple right about now. If you'll just go socialize and let me socialize. Because I love you and I want you to have friends. And even though I don't want you to lie about me and I would rather you tell the truth, Jesus freaking Christ, like, just go have some fun, honey. But anyways, back to Melissa. Melissa helped me out. Like, I was like, you know, I went into work. Everybody's like, what's wrong? I'm like, I don't want to talk about it. It's like I told the manager, kind of secret, like, you know, because I went in, they're like, what's wrong? And I kind of went in and shut the door, and I was like, my kid, you know, is not home. And they was like, oh. I was like, what happened? I was like, my parents took temporary custody of her. And she's like, okay. And then she seen me, you know, frowning and thing, and I just went into work. Everybody, what's wrong, you know, or what's going on, or why ain't you happy, or what's, you're usually happy. And I went over and drive through. I remember. I was standing there, you know, trying to act fine. And I think EJ was even there that day, but she was in the back, and so she just kept looking at me like 2 or 3 times, like our eyes met, and I was just like, don't ask, you know. And that's the thing, like with EJ, like, it's like she just knew when to ask, when to not, when to speak, when to not, you know, for the most part, except for that one night. Boy, she didn't know when to speak then, but boy, she knew when to speak afterwards. Didn't know how to shut up afterwards. But, so I'm standing there in drive-thru, and I took, like, I don't know, a couple orders. I'd been there anywhere from, like, maybe 30 minutes to an hour and a half. And Melissa, you know, it took her a minute to kind of catch on that, like, this is a mood that's not going to go away, you know. And she's like, what's wrong, you know? And I was like, and she's like, what's wrong? So there's the second asking, you know, and I was like, my parents took temporary custody of my daughter, and she's like, what? And I just started crying. I was like, yeah. And she's like, don't cry, you know. And she grabbed my hand and she's like, it's okay. And she's like, we're gonna help you, you know. She's like, we're gonna get you through this, you know. And she's like, it's okay, you know. And it's like, as a mother, that she'd lost one of her kids and she's lost her grandkids of the one that passed away, you know. Like, she knows a little bit more about the pain, you know, of, you know, like, kind of dealing with that. And so she's like, I'm gonna get you through this. She's like, I'm gonna get you through it. And so she took me to court and all that, and I guess she must have wanted me to lie whenever I went to court and be like, no, I didn't say that. No, I didn't do that. That way I just would have hurried up and got her back. But I'm truthful, you know. And so I was like, yeah, I said that. Yeah, I did that. But that was in October, and you took custody of her in late December, like 2 months later, like, or 2.5 months later, like, what the fuck does something that happened in the past have to do with the future? Oh, okay, you want to drudge up the past? Okay, let me tell you everything that my parents have done to me. Let me start from the beginning. Let me start from the very first memory that I have. And maybe that's what developed my mind, because in all honesty, my very first memory, other than probably, like, seeing my papa and my sissy, as I used to call her, because I used to really look up to her so much when I was real little. Other than those first 2 good memories, all I remember is my parents laughing at me. I remember it so well. They would do things to me like when I was a baby and just laugh. As a matter of fact, there's this one picture. And see, that's the thing, is like, it's a picture that triggers, you know, and there's people that are like, oh, you can't possibly remember that far back and this and that and short-term memory loss and all kinds of other stuff. Actually, there's 2 pictures. One is of me, and I'm like in a little jumper thing, like for the babies, you know, to jump and learn to walk in. And I'm in these ratty looking clothes, if you will, or whatever, these winter clothes or whatever. And I got a toboggan on my head, you know, and I'm probably not even a year or 2 years old. You know, I might be 1.5 years at the oldest. I might be just a really fat 3 or 6 month old baby. I have no idea how old I am in the picture. But it's like, I remember my dad putting the hat on my head, and I remember I was hot, and I couldn't express, because I couldn't speak at that point in time, that I was already hot. And he put the hat on my head, and I remember smiling at him, because he was smiling as he was putting it on my head. And then it was like, oh, let's take a picture of her, you know, because, like, laughing because it's funny, because she looks funny with the toboggan on her head. And so they took a picture of me, and I smiled, you know, thinking I'm being like a good little baby, if you will. And so I remember a lot of looking at my parents laughing at me when I was little, is the best way to word it. It's like a circulation of, like, just they're smiling, laughing, giggling faces, because let's pick on the little baby. And they even told me when I was growing up, which I don't remember. I remember like 2 times in my childhood, but this is like before age 5, so it's not like really infant memory-wise. But it's like, they told me when I got older, and then it was like, oh, okay, that kind of brings back a little bit of a trigger of a memory. And it's like, they're like, oh, we used to feed y'all the awfulest things just to see the crazy faces y'all'd make. We used to feed y'all all kinds of stuff. And then here I am, I've dealt with thrush my whole life, basically. And my mom said that it was because I chewed on a hairbrush when I was little. Who lets their child chew on a hairbrush? For starters. And then, like, to feed a little infant A1 steak sauce, you know, and fucking mustard and all kinds of things that are gonna, you know, possibly mess up their tongue and their taste buds and all that and everything, just so you can get a laugh or a giggle out of it. Like, are you kidding me? And so whenever they tried to do that to my kid, because I was living there when my kid was little, I was living there until my daughter was 3, basically, or pretty much. And they try to feed her stuff, I'd be like, no. I'd be like, here, we'll just set it in front of her, and if she tastes it on her own, then she tastes it on her own, you know. And so she'd stick her finger in it, you know, because I'd show her, like, I'd stick my finger and I'd taste it, and she'd stick her finger and she'd taste it, she'd make a face, and I'd be like, you like it? And she'd be like, no, you know, or she'd be like, you know. And then after she got probably about like a year and a half old, you know, then she got to where she did like ketchup and A1 steak sauce. I don't even know of her really liking mustard until she was quite a bit older, you know, and other types of sauces and stuff like that. But she liked A1 and ketchup when she was like a year and a half, 2 years old. Because I remember I'd cut up her pork chops and I'd make sure to bake hers, and I'd make sure that I didn't put barbecue on it because she didn't want barbecue, and I cut it up in little pieces and I put her some A1 steak sauce. And I did that with her steak too, because she started teething when she was literally a month and a half old, so she had teeth. And, you know, by the time they're a year old and a year and a half especially, then they can practically eat just about anything as long as it's tore up good enough. And my baby loved steak and pork chops, and she loved veal, the like little cans of veal for as far as the baby food meats and stuff like that. And like I'd still buy her that occasionally because, you know, it's not nothing, you know, or mutton, you know, it's not nothing that we'd regularly buy, you know, or whatever. So I'd buy her the little canned baby foods. But anyways, so Melissa was like, you know, I'll help you get your daughter back. And so she took me to court, and she took me to my first few counseling and all that. And then it's like, then that's when EJ started stepping in, and EJ started taking me, you know, to counseling. And EJ started taking me to my attorney's office, and EJ was taking me to her house to do laundry. I only did laundry over at Melissa's like twice. I did laundry over at EJ's like, I don't know, like 5 times, I guess. I don't know. And so I remember the first time, and I even had it in text messages, you know, where EJ texts me, and she's like, do you got to work today? And I'm like, you know, or something. And I was like, no. I was like, but I got to go to my counseling and to my attorney's office. And she's like, oh. And she's like, well, I need somebody to cover my shift. And I was like, well, let me see. And she's like, can you see if Melissa will? And I was like, yeah, you know. And so I text Melissa, and Melissa wrote back, and she's like, yeah, you know, I'll take her shift. I need the money. So she took and worked EJ's shift, and then EJ took me to the attorney's office and to the counseling. And then that's the day that a bunch of shit got screwed up before I was supposed to go to court, because the counselor's office had lied to my attorney and told my attorney that my counselor was no longer there and my counselor had moved to Tennessee. And come to find out, it was another woman with the same first name, Jennifer. But the thing is, and how ironic that this new neighbor that's coworker that's turned into friend that liked me, that I'm just like about and all that, her name's Jennifer. But anyways, so Jennifer supposedly has moved to Tennessee. So my counselor's moved to Tennessee after she's done an evaluation, and I've had 2 counseling sessions with her, and she's supposed to be subpoenaed to show up to court. And my attorney calls to, you know, have her come to court, and he's told that there is no Jennifer there. So I have to go back to the counseling office after I just left there from counseling, you know, or no, I take it back. I just left from there from counseling like 3 days prior. And I was like, no, you know, how did she just up and leave in 3 days, and she didn't even have the nerve to tell me and this and that, you know. That's right. I went to the attorney's office first. And he told me that. So then I went to the counseling office, And then they're like, oh no, she's still here, you know. And I'm like, she is. Well, why is my attorney saying she's not? Well, because there's another Jennifer that did move and did go to Tennessee. And I'm like, okay, so now we just need to have this one subpoenaed. That's my actual counselor. And I'm like, so let me go back up here to my attorney and give him again her last name, you know, and have her subpoenaed. And I gave him the name. And he acted like, oh, well, it's too late because court's tomorrow or whatever, or in a day or two, so I can't subpoena her now. And then whenever I seen her, I was like, hey, I wasn't expecting to see you, you know, because I thought you had left. I'm not sure because it confused me all. You know, like, damn, I was told you left, and then I'm told that you're not, and then I'm like, hey, do I have a new counselor? Because my attorney, when I went back to him, he's like, oh, well, you're just going to have somebody else evaluate you and somebody else do counseling with you because, you know, they moved. And that's what I was told, you know, and so what he was told was supposed to be more reliable than what the hell I was told, you know. And so I go in and I'm like, you know, she comes and she opens the door and she calls my name and I'm like, kind of in shock, you know, and I'm like, you're here? You know, and she's like, yeah, you know, because she thinks I'm completely off my rocker, you know, and then I'm a complete moron, and I'm like, oh, you know, the person here, you know, no, you know, you're here. I was told you moved to Tennessee, you know, like, holy shit. And then that's the thing, too, is it's like it was a gameplay, I feel like, from day one, because, hell, I went in there and sat waiting in the office, and 3 times they're playing the fucking movie Mrs. Doubtfire. Like, and I'm trying not to lose my shit crying because, you know, his kids are taken from him. And then Robin Williams is dead. And then I love Robin Williams as an actor, you know, and he committed suicide, supposedly. And I'm just like, the devil and all these people that are being possessed by what the fuck ever they're being possessed by, they just want me to kill myself. They just want me to kill myself. It's like a smack in the face, you know. But anyway, so EJ took over for as far as, you know, being my ride and stuff and all that. But Melissa was still there, you know, and Melissa still took me quite a bit, you know, and so it's kind of like back and forth, you know, whoever was available and not busy. And then all of a sudden, it's like, I remember me and EJ went out to my counseling, and afterwards, and I gave her some gas money whenever she dropped me off at my counselor's. And afterwards, I was like, hey, you want to eat? You know, and she's like, yeah. And so we went and we ate, which we went and ate together several times. And talked, and she kicked my feet up under the table and all kinds of stuff, and laugh and giggle and have good times. And it's even like over at work, we're sitting, and well, I went over while she's eating her meal, and I was sitting there and I untied her shoe. She had her feet up by me. I untied her shoe. But, we teased each other. And, so anyways, gave her the gas money. She went and she drove, you know, and got the gas or whatever while I was in the counselor's office. I get back out and I'm like, hey, you want to go and eat? She's like, yeah, sure. So we go and eat and we're sitting and we're talking about things. And I remember when I'd given her the gas money, I had this ornery feeling of, now I'm giving her gas money and I haven't gave Melissa any. But I've offered Melissa gas money, and Melissa has refused. But is this going to cause a problem if word gets out? Because I don't know how well I can trust EJ. And I'm like, huh. And the thing is, too, is like, I'd hung out with Melissa, and I'd went over and done laundry at her house like once or twice. And one time when I was over there, like, she was just talking to me, you know, and everything. And she had mentioned that she had, you know, when she was in her younger days or whatever, that she had kissed, you know, one woman, one female, and she's like, and I didn't like it. And I was like, oh, I'm straight. Like, at that point in time, like, I was convinced that I was straight for the most part, because, like, you never know what you are until you really sit back and study it and, like, figure it out and everything. And it's like, it took me months, you know, even after EJ, to be like, what am I and what am I attracted to? And then it's like, well, technically, yeah, sex doesn't matter, gender doesn't matter, the connection matters. And then I'm like, okay, was it just men and women? Am I bi? And then I'm like, would I date somebody who's transgender if I fell in love with them? Would I date somebody that's intersex? And I had to ask myself that. Would I date somebody that's this and that, or whatever gender they identify as, or gender fluid, and all that? Would I date them if I was attracted to them, for as far as their personality and we had a strong bond? And the answer is yes. And so that makes me demi-pansexual. And I was just like, okay, that's what I am. But it's like, it took me forever to figure that out even. And it's like, so I'm sitting there with Melissa in the car one day as we're driving back or whatever, and I'm like, talking about, because there's like a couple, if you will, in our work group, if you will, and I'm just like, I don't have no problem with it, and I'm like, I've had quite a few friends that are lesbians, and I've had, or schoolmates, and I've actually had girls hit on me before, but I didn't like them, Now, one of them I did, one of them I kind of did, but one of them I really did, but I had a nightmare about, like, her dying, like, if I dated her, and so that just, like, scared the shit out of me, and I was like, I'm not even gonna try. And then it really fucked me up that, like, her girlfriend got on to me. Like, I was just sitting there, and this is when I realized how much she liked me in return, and I'm sitting there, like, breakfast that morning, and her girlfriend's giving me, like, stank eye from hell, and I'm just like, fuck, And, like, I know that me and her flirted, but I thought it was just innocent flirting, and nothing was coming of it, and all that and everything, even though, I'd done tossed around in my head whether I would date her or not. And the answer was yes, if given the opportunity. But the thing is she was with this girl, and I was like, she's going to date her forever. They're a forever couple, because they'd done been together for a while. And so her girlfriend just keeps giving me the stank eye. And the thing is like, girls over there kind of looking at me, while her girlfriend's giving me, like, this hateful-ass look. And so I finally just confronted her, because I couldn't handle it no more. I'm like, do you have a problem with me? Can I help you? Can I help you? Do you have a problem with me? I'm like, because we can talk about it, I'm like, I'm civilized, I'm like, yeah, I'm a redneck or what the hell ever, and I'm country as fucking hell. I'm like, but I'm civilized. I know how to talk about things. I'm like, can I help you? I'm like, because you keep looking at me like that. And I said, you're fixing to get hit, I said, so, you else need to turn your head or something. And she's like, well, just stop looking at me if you don't like me looking at you. And I'm like, hell, it ain't me looking at you. It's every time I even look in any direction within my viewpoint, even my peripheral view, and it's like you're just there staring at me, giving me this go to hell look. And I was like, so yeah, And so then she's like, well, if you wasn't hitting on my girlfriend, and I'm like, wait, what have I done to hit on your girlfriend? I'm like, okay, we've goofed off in class like twice. That's it. And I'm like, she's the instigator. And she just kind of snickered, and I was like, I was like, see? I was like, so don't even, or whatever. And I was like, but it's nothing, and she's like, and I was like, listen, I don't do cheaters, I ain't about it, or whatever, I don't like it, I ain't for it, and all that, and everything. And so, like, she like, oh, okay, and she like, kind of put off that, like, because I talked to her long enough, and I talked to her, like, next morning, or whatever, and so she kind of put off, like, that I am a decent person, I guess, and I'm like, told you, And a week and a half later, hell, I'm walking through the damn hallway at school, and not the girl that I liked, but the one that was her girlfriend that was giving me the stank eye. Hell, she come up behind me and grabbed my ass, and I was just like, what just happened? And so I told her girlfriend, the one that I did like whenever we had class later that afternoon, I'm like, Just want to tell you, your damn girlfriend come up to me and grabbed my damn ass in the fucking hallway. And I'm like, and I don't know how the fuck to feel about it. I said, but whatever this is, I said, if y'all trying to get me involved in some three-way shit, I said, it ain't happening. I said, so just calm the fuck down. And she just kind of, and she confronted her about it. She told me like a week later, she's like, oh, I asked her about it. She admitted to it. And I said, really? And I said, well, what? How are y'all fine with that? And she's like, well, you do have a cute butt. And that's what she said. She said she just wanted to grab your butt because you have a cute butt. And I was just like, what hell have I stepped into? I was just like, okay. But, anyways. God, high school. Whew, long ass time ago. But anyway, so whenever I handed EJ the gas money, I thought, if it got back to Melissa might get mad, that I didn't give her gas money. But the thing is like I'd asked EJ, I was like, will you be able to take me to my counseling if I get your work shift covered by Melissa, and she's like, yeah, or to my attorney. And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, do you need gas money? And she's like, probably so. And see, I know she lives further away than Melissa does from me. So, I was just like, well, I got to go to counseling. And you're going to be a hell of a lot cheaper than a cab, And at that point in time, I had the money to pay for a cab. Granted, I probably would have only been able to pay for a cab about twice to get to counseling. But still. And it's a hell of a lot cheaper to give a friend, gas money. And so that's what I did. But one day when I was still like back and forth, like I was in the car with Melissa and we was talking about, lesbian relationships because there's one at where we was working and stuff. And I was just like, I'm straight, for the most part. I'm like, I've thought about girls, but when I think about it, like I can't, I was like, I just can't, But the thing is it's like I become gender blind, I guess you could say, whenever I like somebody. Because I never have wanted to be with a female as bad as I want to be with EJ. And then I hate myself for it now. It's like my life wasn't fucked up enough already. I didn't hate myself enough already. And EJ come along and gave me the illusion, if you will, of possibly having a chance with her. And now I hate myself even more. It's like, I feel sick. Can I throw up? And then, like, Jennifer, like, I feel like Jennifer's trying to win me over. And it's like, you can't win me over. And I think maybe I messed up by telling her, that I thought that she was pretty. And, like, I don't know. Like, I'm all about the connection. Like, EJ never told me that she thought I was attractive. EJ never complimented the way that, well, she might have said, that's fine, but she didn't mean it as like a appearance-wise compliment. It was more of just a random, like, it's fine. Whatever it is, it's fine. And boy, that's what she said that night too. And I was just like, okay, it's fine. I'm fine. It's fine. Apparently it wasn't. But, anyways. I'm so depressed right now. God, I'm so depressed right now. And I'm trying not to be. And it apparently started raining while I was laying down sleeping. But anyways, last night, I was in a good mood for the most part. I was on the Amino apps and I was talking to a bunch of people. And even though a bunch of people are a bunch of kids and they're kind of picking on me, and it's like 50% of the people on the Aminos are kids. And the other 50% are made up of, different ages, that aren't children. And they're 21 plus. You get what I'm saying? And I actually took a poll on one of them to kind of liven things up. Just like when I was in 6th grade and went to the first 6th grade dance and nobody danced. And so when I went to the next one, I was like, my parents paid money for this. They taught me the value of $1. I'm not getting screamed at and treated like shit for a fucking week because I asked for money to come to a damn dance. And I do like to dance and then just to not dance. I'm gonna dance. And so I got up and danced, and then everybody else kind of started dancing more and, you know, everything over time and stuff. And then we got to where, man, we were insane in middle school. Like, my whole damn class, man, I feel sorry for our teachers. They were probably like, oh my God. And that's like this picture that I even have from a dance. I had the white dress on. It was the only dress that was bought for me during my middle school years that wasn't a hand-me-down from my sister. And my dad cried whenever I come out because I pitched a fit because I wanted to look like kind of like Cinderella, and the dress was only like $60. And I had little magnetized earrings, and my sister did my hair, and she bought these little jewel things, if I remember correctly, and placed in my hair like in the bun. And my hair looked beautiful from the back, but I didn't like the way it looked around my face. I didn't like the way that it framed my face. And so the picture is like the backside of me. And we are all in line doing the train, you know, and everything. And it's just a hilarious picture. Like, you know, I just fucking adore it. Like, I love that picture from my childhood, youth, whatever. Even though you can't, you know, and if you don't know me, then you would be like, where are you, you know, and everything. But I had white gloves that I put on, you know, and I think I had some type of slip-on shoe, if I remember correctly. Because I don't think I got my Cinderella high heels until high school, which I still got to this day. But boy, my feet have grown probably about a size at least, and I can't get them on without, like, and then with my busted ankle, there's no way in hell. But it's like, I've held on to them because I knew my kids were going to, you know, I have a big foot, so it's like, my kids are probably going to have big feet, and so I've held on to them all this time. And they're just clear. They're like a wedged heel, you know, to a degree, and they're clear. But anyways, you reach a point, though, where things just don't even seem to matter anymore. Because if you can't get your life to line up, if you can't feel like you can't get any progress, everything just seems like shit. Just keep feeling like you're spinning your wheels. Oh, but anyways, my dad cried whenever I walked out, like, you know, because, like, that was the first time, like, I guess that they'd ever, like, seen me dressed up and me wanting to be dressed up and everything. And me kind of standing up and being like, okay, my dad's a pervert, whatever. He's only got to see me for maybe 30 minutes tops in my dress and stuff, so I don't feel all disgusting like he wants to molest me. So yeah, I can stomach this for 30 minutes, you know, 15-minute ride there, 15-minute ride back, you know. I'll be okay. I'll be good. And whenever I come out, him and my mom was at the end of the hall, and they took and I thought it was weird too. And I think I got one or two somewhere. But see, I had a regular camera that I took to the dance with me, and I gave my friend to take pictures, you know, and stuff. And so they took pictures. Apparently they liked my backside. Oh my God, I just now got that. But anyways. But they actually only took like one or two pictures. And so the rest of the pictures are of me taking pictures of my friends. And my friends were so young and so embarrassed, so they would just stand still, you know, and they wouldn't, you know. And this was before you had to worry about blur and all that and everything. This was when, you know, the film, you know, the little disposable cameras, you know. But, yeah. But anyways, so my dad cried whenever I walked out the hallway like I was fixing to get married, is the way that he cried, you know. And the thing is they had a Polaroid and they took pictures of me with the Polaroid instead of the regular camera. And I was just like, okay, you just made me feel even more disgusting. And then that's even like my mom. My mom literally told me that they have the videotape of the birth of my daughter. They have the videotape of the birth of my daughter. Vag shot, okay? You see everything. And that they watch it, and it's over in their storage unit. My mother told me this. It's over in their storage unit on the video camera still, the tape. Because I deleted all other evidence of it. Because I got so mad that they took it. But it's on tape for their video camera. My mom told me this. And they go over to their storage unit every year on my daughter's birthday. And they watch that video. You want to tell me that my parents ain't demented, sick, twisted little fucks? Or that even if my mom just told me that to be an asshole, to make me feel like shit because she's a narcissist, and she was trying to manipulate me and make me feel like shit and make me end up saying this because it truthfully did occur for as far as her saying that to me and make me look like I'm a goddamn idiot? But that's what she told me. And see, that's the thing, too, is I was like, did y'all even have the video camera whenever I gave birth to Ava? I thought y'all only had this. But then I remember my sister standing over in the corner. And I was like, it's like a blur, you know, because here's my mom, here's my aunt. My aunt keeps hitting the fucking pump. Oh, she's in pain, she's in pain, she's in pain, she's in pain. Even after they tell her that I'm ready to push. And it's like, it only gives out so much pain medicine every 30 minutes. That's the quickest you can ask for it. Yeah, I'm in pain, but shut the fuck up because I'm fixing to put your ass in pain. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, that's the thing about me. Like, I was abused as a kid. I can handle pain. And then a woman's pain tolerance is higher than a man's. I'm in pain? Okay, I'm in pain. My brain done knows this. Everything about me done logically knows it, even though I've disassociated enough that I'm just like sitting there and I'm just like, oh, that hurts. Well, la 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 la. And you're going to keep reiterating, you're in pain, you're in pain, you're in pain. I'm going to put your ass in pain, motherfucker. Shut up. But anyways, and I hated them even being in there. I didn't want nobody in there. I wanted to give birth to my child with nobody in there. And instead, my aunt, that's my mom's sister, was in there. My mom was in there. My sister was in there. And my granny was in there. And granny was the only one that was even halfway civil. She like barely glanced one time at my hoo-hoo, if you will. That was all it took for her to just be like, eh. Because even if she was perverted and that's where they got it from or some shit, I don't know. She's done so old and done seen so much shit and she knows she's gonna die. What the hell does it matter? But other than that, she sat there in the damn chair and kind of just petted my hand whenever she could, whenever I wasn't holding on, you know, to the bed rails and, you know, and then whenever I was pushing and stuff, you know. And she stood up, like, over me, like, the last little bit after I done gave birth to Ava, and, like, Ava's being cleaned up, but Ava's still, you know, and she's not being cleaned up, but she's just being swaddled, you know, really good, and kind of wiped a little, and her nose and her mouth cleaned out right there, you know, real quick. She stood up for that, and then they flopped Ava up on my belly, you know, and everything, and I'm just like, damn, can you be gentle with my kid? You know? Like, I know that you're used to this, but give her a second. Hell, she's in a state of shock. I don't want to talk about that no more. I'm going to start crying, though, because I miss my baby so much. Oh my God. Her little face. She didn't cry. God, I mean, she cried like as soon as she was first born, and they was holding her for a split second. But she just lay. Oh God, break my heart that she's not home. But anyways, I gotta end it here. I could talk about so much more, but anyways, these kids on this amino app, or whatever last night, like I got some of them, they're trying to be assholes to me and everything. This one, oh my God, talk about another emotional setback, if you will. This one, I don't know how young he is or whatever, but he's got his name. Maybe I shouldn't put it out there. But he's got his screen name as something that's not really funny, but it is. It's like sarcastic funny. And so he liked one of my posts or whatever, and so I asked him about his screen name, and I was like, so, are you just admirably sarcastic? Or are you really, like, an asshole? I didn't say that, but, it was kind of something along that line. And he wrote back, and he's like, no, he's like, I thought it was funny, this and that, and, like, it reminded me so much of something that my cousin Caleb or Jason would do. And these babies were born when I was like 11 and 12 years old. My cousin Misty, which I was real close to, they were her babies, and so they became my babies. And then she had Izzy and Isaac, and I adored them. And they're the ones that when they were like 3 and 4 or 5, and I was 15 or whatever, and I smoked pot around them my very first time, not like in the room with them, but like in the bedroom, and then went out and cut Teletubbies on for them because they woke up and climbed all on me and was like, can we sleep with you? And I was like, I guess, because I was high. I was like, you do all the time anyway. What does it matter? And they climbed up on me, and they're all draped over me asleep, and Caleb's little head, and Jason down here. And I'm just petting his little head, and he's so cute and all that. And it's like they've grown up and they've went out and had their whole damn, like they're so much more established for as far as their selves, the way that they feel. Even though they're drug addicts, I hate to say it. And boys, if you see this, shut the fuck up. You know you are. I know you are. Don't tell me you ain't. I wish to God you wasn't. I hate that you followed down the same steps as your mama, but I get it. And it's like a hereditary curse, and y'all weren't strong enough to break it. And I know you hurt Caleb, and I know you hurt Jason, and I know that all of y'all hurt, and I get it, babies. God, do I? And I'm so sorry. And I wish I would have been older, and I wish I would have been more stable with my family dysfunction to help y'all out. But babies, I did everything I could for you. But anyways, so I was talking on the amino to this one guy, and like, I wrote him and I told him flat out, I was like, man, I wish to God my cousins was here, because I would tell them like our conversation and they would be dying laughing, and they'd be like, Heather, you so cool, or something like that, or they'd be like, you so funny. And it's like Caleb, Jason has, well, they both have anger issues in their own different way, which I do too. I mean, hell, our whole family's just, yeah, But all families have issues. We're all humans. Everybody makes mistakes, and stuff like that. But it's like Caleb's and Jason's anger is like different, and it's like for some reason my idiot family can't understand that. Which is surprising, because my sister's anger is manipulative and sneaky and narcissistic and just conniving and twisting. And my temper and my anger is just, don't fuck with me. And if I reach a point with you that I tell you to leave me alone, I mean it. Because I rarely tell people to leave me the fuck alone. But once I've told you to leave me alone, you leave me alone. And luckily, since I liked children and wanted to be a mom to like 7 kids, even though that hadn't happened and didn't happen, and my life's been shit and everything for as far as that, it's like, kids get that. You look at a kid, any age, I don't give a shit. Hell, you could look at a 19-year-old, and if you're an adult and you say to them, don't, you know, and you, or maybe it's just my presence when I say it. I'm like, listen. And I explain to them, too. That's the thing, too. It's like, they're children, so you got to explain it to them. You got to be like, I'm so fucking mad right now. If you do not stop, especially when they get, like, way up in the teenage years, if you do not fucking stop, your head's going through that wall. And then you walk away, and then they're like, whoa, and then they might laugh and giggle about it and be like, yeah, I'd like to see her try, you know, because that's what my cousins, Caleb and Jason, that's what they went through when they were like 13 and 14 and so on, with my granny even, when she was still alive, you know, or wait, was she alive at that time? Hell, I don't know. How old were they? Let's see. How many years ago has that been? No, okay, whoa, way back up. Okay, granny wasn't alive at that point in time, but still. And I wasn't really around them. I'm thinking of when they were like 11 and 13 and 10 and 9. Bless their hearts, my boys have had it rough. And I say my boys affectionately because I always thought I was going to have a bunch of kids and have, you know, and like I said, they was born when I was 11 and stuff, and so they're like my little babies. But whenever they were, hell, like 8 and 9 probably, that's when they were being real ornery and pissy and all kinds of shit. Because everything they was living through, hell, they was living through hell. My boys have lived through hell. But their tempers are completely different. And Jason's is something that I can't talk to him about. And you can't get past him, and he's an Aries, I believe, so he's real fucking stubborn. So once he's mad at you, and he's gonna stay mad at you until he wants to not stay mad at you anymore. And that boy, hell, he stayed mad at me for what, 2-3 years. And last time I seen him was like a year and a half ago, and he gave me a hug. And they're so much taller than me. And they're such beautiful boys. God, I love them so much. I wish to God that they could get off drugs and stay clean. And they're good people. All of them. All of her babies. They really are. But they're so much taller than me, it's ridiculous. They are their dad's sons. Oh God, are they? And it's like Jason hugged me, and it was like a understanding, I guess, for the first time in like a long time. It's like maybe he kind of got it, you know, that my life ain't been easy either, son. You know, it ain't, you know. And it's like Caleb, he's always kind of got that. He's always had that, you know, kind of, and everything. And Caleb's more, I don't want to say more lenient, but he kind of is. Because Jason's just so damn stubborn. It's fucking adorable, though. Oh, God, he's so stubborn. Oh, my chocolate milk, baby. I miss them being little so much. And I hate that I didn't get to spend as much time with Izzy and Isaac as I wanted to. And luckily, like, Isaac still thinks relatively fond of me, even though he didn't get to see me a lot. Oh, It's like Caleb asked me to marry him when he was like 5. It's like I've never forgot that because it was so adorable. At first, he was playing dinosaurs and he asked me to marry him, and then like he was like, "Well, can you just be my mommy?" You know. And that's another thing too. Is like this dick prick of a teenager is what I feel like. I feel like it's just somebody fucking with me. They wrote me about that or whatever last night. They was like, "Oh, you know," and there's like, "My mom died," and I don't know whether to believe them or not. I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt, but I'm reaching a point where I'm fixing to fucking cuss them out. So we'll see what they say tonight. But they're like, "Oh, my mom died. Can you be my mommy over the internet?" And then they've been real disrespectful because they wrote me and they're like, "Can you be my hot honey bear mommy?" And I was just like, really? You know, like I just, you know, the little blank face, you know, the little, what is it, the lines for the eyes and the mouth. And I was like, I done told you, I'm not, no. And so then I had to smart off to him and be like, "Listen, you disrespect me one more fucking time, I ain't talking to you about a goddamn thing. Like, you could probably sit and tell me that you're going to kill yourself, and I'm not going to talk to you about it because you disrespected me repetitively. Like, he's done said 2 things out of the way, out of the line to me, and if he says one more, then I ain't talking to him anymore." But he claims that he's 16. Claims. And I don't know if he is or if it's just somebody trying to fuck me over. But I gotta end it here because it's on 66 minutes and it'll end at 67. So, got anything to say, you can hit me up in the comments. Other than that, I'll let you go and I'll catch you later. And I hope you're doing good. Keep putting your best foot forward. And I'll see you in tomorrow's video.